Morgellons is a controversial and poorly understood condition that has sparked debate among patients, doctors, and researchers for many years. People who report having Morgellons describe a range of troubling symptoms, most commonly skin lesions, sensations of crawling or stinging on or under the skin, and the appearance of unusual fibers or particles emerging from sores. Some individuals also report fatigue, memory loss, mood disturbances, and joint pain, making the condition seem both dermatological and systemic. However, despite the consistency in patient reports, Morgellons remains officially unrecognized as a distinct disease by many mainstream medical organizations. The term, Morgellons, was revived in the early 21st century by a mother whose young son was suffering from skin lesions. She used the word after discovering a 17th-century medical account describing similar symptoms in French children. The modern wave of reports, however, did not gain significant attention until patients began connecting online and describing their shared experiences. This network of testimonies helped Morgellons grow from isolated complaints into a larger, collective phenomenon. Medical investigations into Morgellons have been mixed. One of the largest studies conducted in the United States was carried out by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in collaboration with Kaiser Permanente. Published in the early 2010s, the study examined a group of patients in California who reported symptoms consistent with Morgellons. Researchers concluded that the fibers found in the lesions were mostly cotton or other commonly encountered substances, and they did not find evidence of a new or infectious disease. Many of the patients studied also showed signs of psychological stress, delusional thinking, or mental illness, which led to the conclusion that Morgellons might be a manifestation of delusional parasitosis, a known psychiatric condition where individuals falsely believe they are infested with parasites. However, this conclusion has not satisfied many patients, advocates, or independent researchers. Critics argue that the study was limited in scope, failed to address many of the more complex or systemic symptoms reported, and did not adequately investigate the biochemical composition of the fibers. Some clinicians have found evidence that the fibers are not simply textile contaminants but may contain biological materials such as keratin or collagen. Other studies have pointed to the presence of spirochetes, spiral-shaped bacteria similar to those that cause Lyme disease, in skin samples of Morgellons patients. This has led a small group of researchers to propose that Morgellons could be a dermatological manifestation of a chronic bacterial infection. A particularly contentious aspect of the Morgellons debate is its overlap with chronic Lyme disease. Some practitioners who treat Lyme disease believe that Morgellons is a co-infection or a secondary effect caused by persistent bacteria in the body. According to this theory, the fibers seen in Morgellons are produced by the body itself in response to infection or inflammation. Others speculate that an immune system imbalance or environmental exposure could trigger the symptoms. While this view has not been widely accepted by mainstream medicine, it continues to drive research and treatment approaches in some alternative and integrative health communities. There is also a sociological dimension to the Morgellons phenomenon. The internet played a critical role in shaping how people understand and identify their symptoms. Online forums and support groups have provided validation and solidarity for sufferers, but they have also contributed to the rapid spread of self-diagnosis. This dynamic has made it difficult for physicians to distinguish between psychogenic illness, where symptoms arise from psychological origins, and a potential new disease that is simply not yet well understood. In some cases, patients have brought extensive documentation to their doctors, including photographs, videos, and even physical samples of the fibers. When their concerns are dismissed, frustration and distrust can grow, leading patients to seek care outside conventional systems. Another layer of controversy surrounds the suggestion that Morgellons may be linked to exposure to unknown environmental agents, nanomaterials, or bioengineered substances. These ideas often fall into the realm of speculation and are frequently dismissed by scientists as unproven or conspiratorial. Nevertheless, the intensity of belief among some patients has led to persistent questions about whether environmental toxins, industrial pollution, or even deliberate human intervention could play a role. These theories have not been confirmed, but they illustrate the deep anxiety and uncertainty that many sufferers experience when searching for answers. The challenge of Morgellons lies in its intersection of multiple disciplines. It touches dermatology, psychiatry, infectious disease, immunology, and even neurology. The lack of a definitive biomarker or test makes diagnosis difficult, and the absence of consensus on its cause or treatment creates frustration for both patients and healthcare providers. Some physicians treat the condition symptomatically, focusing on skin care, antibiotics, antidepressants, or antipsychotic medications depending on the individual case. Others reject the diagnosis entirely, viewing it as an internet-driven delusion. Meanwhile, a smaller number of doctors have developed protocols based on the idea of chronic infection, using long-term antibiotics and herbal supplements, though this approach remains controversial and is often criticized for lacking scientific validation. From the patient's perspective, Morgellons can be an isolating and traumatic experience. Many report being dismissed, misdiagnosed, or treated with skepticism by the medical system. Others face ridicule from friends, family, or online commentators who do not believe their condition is real. This social stigma compounds the physical and psychological burden of the illness. For those who believe they are afflicted, the suffering is undeniably real, even if the underlying mechanism is still in question.